Hi, I'm Michael Latone, and I'm with Stride Solutions. We specialize in reducing expenses and obtaining large federal tax incentives for businesses large and small. ERC benefits are up to $26,000 for each W-2 employee. That's huge. Tired of paying high property taxes? Not a problem. Get your share of $1 million. How about a huge bag of money delivered to your doorstep? Activate an account today. I'm Mike Latone, and I'm with Stride Solutions. Have a great day.
Born into a real fight wasn't right. Where can she dream here?
And it's Wednesday, and we're live, which is actually kind of nice. You know, we've taken a little sabbatical for the holiday, and now we're back on. We are changing things up a little bit, but the plan is still the plan. We will be joined by Publio here shortly. He and his guest will be joining us at the bottom of the hour. And at that same time, we're going to be joined by great friend. I've had him on the show a couple times, but J.R. Smith with the Veterans Ranch. And he's got some exciting things going on, including, but not limited to, a brand new event that is coming up. Excuse me. And the Veterans Ranch Benefit Concert. We had a discussion a couple of years ago on the 22-hour podcast with Mr. Ryan Weaver. And we really had a good time. Wonderful, wonderful musician. And once again, we had a great time talking to him. And he allowed us to play one of his videos on the show. And So really looking forward to this. But this is Sunday, February 18th. Wow, look at that. This is only a couple days prior to the 22-hour podcast. So looks like maybe we'll try to talk to him and JR, and maybe we'll do something, and maybe we'll be able to show a little bit of the highlights on our podcast on that day. So we'll see what goes on. But welcome to pACT. My name is Zach Clayton, Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the pACT channel. We are gearing up for the 22-hour podcast. And on a more depressing note, we did have to make a change. It was supposed to be this weekend, but yeah, I'm very sorry about that. It was supposed to be this weekend, but we are going to have to move it to the first part of the year. We're probably looking around March, the March dates, sometime after the Super Bowl and most likely after the 22-hour podcast. I can't overwhelm myself anymore. The good news is you guys can see no device on me anymore. I was released from the doctor today to where no longer have the sling going. Oh, and look who's here. My co-host, who is, I don't know, do they make catnip for dogs? Because this dog has just been a little bit insane today. She truly has. So, yeah, so there's baby girl trying to make her appearance. The chili cook-off was postponed due to my medical issues with my arm, and then COVID happened. We've also got a couple other personal things that just are not allowing us to keep this timeline. So please stick with us. It will happen. It will happen as soon as we possibly can get it to happen. We just need a little bit of a cooperation and patience. If you see the QR code right there in the corner, that is to help us help others this holiday season. We do not, as of yet, unfortunately, we still do not have our 501c3, which means we are not able to do the holiday boxes as of yet. Hopefully, fingers crossed, next year we'll be back to being able to do the food boxes for Thanksgiving and Christmas. For over 25 years, my family was giving out up to 150 boxes every Thanksgiving and every Christmas. So like 300 boxes a year for Thanksgiving and Christmas. And while that's not a huge amount, it was a huge difference for those families that we were able to do that for. So what we're doing instead is we're asking you, if you need help, use this QR code and reach out to us. Let us know what you need, and we're going to try to find people who can help you. We're going to kind of do an adopt a family thing. We're going to try that. If you want to support, if you want to help a family, we ask you to say, hey, you know what? We live in this area in this wonderful country of ours. Do you have any families? And we're going to be able to tell you, yes, we've got a family of whatever, or no, we don't have any families there. And maybe you would decide to help us with a donation for a family somewhere else. I am trying to work a deal with one of the grocery sponsors to where we can work with gift cards that are restricted. And that's a little difficult to do. I'm also trying to work and see if we can do something with delivery, or not delivery, I'm sorry, pickup, but just have the shoppers go in and you're able to take and make a purchase for the family and then have the family go in, because we want to make sure that everyone is safe in this whole deal. The last thing in the world we want to do is have somebody being a community hero, going and trying to be there for somebody, trying to do some good, and they end up getting hurt, or somebody thinks that they're going to be helped and unfortunately something happens to them and damage is brought to them or their family. We don't want that to happen. So we're looking for an alternative way to where we can help people. Again, go to the QR code. You can either donate to us and we will take care of it. Let us know if you want the receipt showing what you bought. I am more than willing to give it to you. $1 will be kept out of the donations and used for gas, because we do have to deliver a lot of these boxes ourselves. And while, thank God, gas is going down, it still costs money, and we need a little bit of help. I love being a good guy. It's kind of fun, but it's not always the most inexpensive thing to be. So we do ask that you do allow us to do that. Also remember, it's completely up to you if you want to pay the service charge or not. But please do remember PayPal. Hey, I'm sorry, they do have a service charge. There is nothing we can do about that. If you prefer to do a donation by Zelle, you can do that. All you have to do is Zelle in our phone number with your bank, and our phone number is 970-909-0751. 970-909-0751. That is the number that you put in for Zelle, and it would go to our account. And once again, as soon as we make the purchase, if you want to see the receipt, if you want to see where the money goes, that's where it is. We're working on the website right now. It's not quite done, but we are working on it. And as soon as we do get it done, I will let you guys know about that. We do have one family right now in the northern Colorado area. It is a mom and it's a mother and a father with a 21-year-old son with special needs. So they do need certain things. We do have a list. And if you're interested in helping us out any way you can, just let us know. So, as we played at the beginning, February 22nd is coming around again. I've found something a little confusing. And I think it's a little confusing to a lot of people. And my opinion, I think it's one of the reasons why we all have a lot of problems with the numbers of suicide, because suicides are counted different by different people. I know here in the state of Colorado, if you overdose, they list it as an accidental suicide. It's still listed as a suicide. Look, you caused your own demise. As as crappy as that is for you as a person, it still proves that there was a problem with mental health there. Our government does not count addictions to the deaths caused by overdosing and alcoholism. They don't count those under suicides. So the numbers are listed with the disabled veterans and with the hospital, the VA. The numbers are listed right now at about 18 a year. But if you look at the state statistics, when it comes to the state statistics, they're going to count in a lot of times that, you know, the drug overdoses are listed as a mental issue. Take that as you will. Okay. It's sometimes you go out and you drink, and you just go out and you drink and you have fun. You overdo it and something bad happens. Please drink responsibly. Sometimes an addiction leads you to drugs. And unfortunately, you overdo it and it leads to your demise. Once again, certain states will consider this an accidental suicide. Those numbers are going to raise. Okay, look, realistically, the number is not 18 veteran deaths a day. It's not. If we want to stop calling it veteran suicides every day, if we just want to call it veteran accidental or self-inflicted deaths, as far as I'm concerned, that's kind of putting lipstick on a pig, because it's still not a pretty thing. Yeah, right here. Brian deals with this every day from Project Die Hard. The numbers aren't even close. And Brian can tell you, Brian was one of the people who he almost drank himself to death. And there's my co-host again. Boy, I'm telling you, this dog, she's just all excited about something. So she really wants me, she wants me to work out this arm that I just got out of the sling today. So, but we need your help. Okay. There's the other one deciding to show up. We need your help. All right. We need sponsorships because we are going to have 10 organizations that are doing things on all gamuts of veteran difficulty, the homelessness crisis, the drug addictions, counseling. Look, Brian and Project Die Hard has been a huge part of this the first 2 years. More than likely, he's going to be part of it the third year. But there's these small organizations in here that are not sitting there that are not sitting here spending hundreds of thousands of dollars of your donations for commercials or whatever. They're on the ground. They're one of them that we're working with right now is resident or rescue residents. They're taking and they're building tiny homes out of ambulances. It's Project Die Hard, and all in one, all inclusive. The veteran gets in, they have a place to live, they have food to eat, they have training that they get to do, counseling that they get to do. It's not a, hey, we're here. Okay, well, look, we're going to start you here, and then we're going to put you here, and then we're going to put you here, and then we're going to move you here, and then we're going to do. It's all in one. Again, wonderful program aimed at the whole veteran. Brian is the founder, and he's not going to take a salary from this. But they need your support. They need your support because, look, as no matter how good your heart is, nobody can do it alone. People need your help. Help us, help them. Now, the one thing that we know that Project Die Hard is they're a mission partner with the Community Pay It Forward family. If you want to know a little bit more about it, there you go. Forward Operating Rush will, when completed, will have 12 single and 2 veterans with their families for up to a year. And that is so important because there's a lot of times that people forget it's not just one person that suffers, it's the entire family. And having a place where a family can go and heal together is keeping a family together. Families falling apart is one of the biggest reasons why mental health suffers. So remember that. All you have to do is look at some of these smaller nonprofits. And that's what this show tonight is about. We're introducing our heroes, both country and community. This is going to be the 3rd episode of this show, and Publio is going to be joining us here very soon with his guest, and then we're also going to have a friend of the program, J.R. Smith, on with us. These are veterans and veteran organizations that are here to heal the people who gave up time from their families, gave up their freedom to serve our country. They served. Now it's our turn. Let's serve them. So one more time, before we get the show really going, here's a little more information about the February 22nd, 22-hour podcast, Community Mission to Serve Our Veterans. If you scan that QR code and you are an organization that helps out veterans, you can be part of the 10 organizations that we are going to focus on. And what's going to happen is if you're one of the 10, all we ask is that you take and you make sure that you share the podcast and you try to help us get sponsorships. Every time we get a sponsorship, that's money in your pocket. Every time that we get a donation, the money of donations, like if a family donates directly to us, that money goes split in between the 10 organizations. That's it. It just goes in. We're not taking a cut out of that money. Community Pay It Forward will not take any money from direct donations of this 22 hours. Okay? We're not taking money for that. We will be keeping some of the money to help this run better, to share this out, to get this mission further widespread. Look, since Wednesday, 22nd, 2023, our program has been seen over 1,000 times. Now, I know that there are people who get seen 1,000 times in a day. That's not us. Not yet. But it can be, and it will be, if we work together. And if we start working together and we start helping these smaller nonprofits, and we start getting the word out there that these nonprofits are out there, we can do so much for our veterans, for our heroes who gave up their time to serve our country. It's important that we honor them for what they did. Now, once again, so we've got the two things going on. We got the 22-hour podcast that's coming up, and then the QR code up in the corner. Code. I don't know why I just went Minnesota there. I don't know what happened. Hey, it is what it is. Oh, and she's back. You've got the QR code up in the corner that you can help us make someone's holidays a very happy holiday. Because look, I was looking it up the other day, and millions of families go hungry every night. They don't have anything when it comes to a holiday. No matter what holiday you celebrate, in the email blast that I put out, I put out there every December holiday that's being celebrated this year. So you're going to see that there's quite a few of them. There's a lot of them that are Christian, Jewish. They're out there. Pagan. There's, or Wicca. And of course, that's pretty prevalent here in my house with Adrian. Don't leave anybody behind if you can help it. Let's help them. That's what Community Pay It Forward is. Please do remember, you can support organizations like all of them that we've been talking about. Brian with Project Die Hard, JR with Veterans Ranch, Bart with Veterans Honoring Veterans, John Vogels with Martyred Angels. All of these wonderful, 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 heartfelt, heart love programs. You can also help people who are just needing a helping hand. You can help them by simply shopping with our giving partners. Great giving partners give us a referral. And when they give us that referral, you tell us who you want to support. We take that money, that referral, and we give at least 80% to the organization that you choose to support. Like, I started this because I know what it's like to suffer. Just like all of you, every single one of us has been through something that we've suffered. The truth is, you don't have to suffer alone. And if people know that you've got a problem, if people know that you're out there and you need the help, they can help you. If they don't know that you need the help, and one of the worst things in the world for people, small nonprofits, small businesses to hear, one of the worst things for them to hear is, I wish I would have known about you before ... happened. Speaking from as one of those smaller businesses, we're out here beating our heads against the wall every day trying to make sure that people know that we're here. To hear that, God, I wish I would have known about you before this, it hurts. It really does. So let's get together, let's work together, and let's see what we can do to hear and to support others. Having questions, go to www.communitypayitforward.us. That's www.communitypayitforward.us, and you can find out more information. Well, I'm starting to see some people coming up, and it looks to me like there's one with a really, really big nose, and he's got some horses behind him too, but we'll bring him up here in just a minute. First off, we've got my brother, Publio. How you doing?
Good. How are you? Sorry for my tardiness.
Very, very good. Very good. We're just talking about the upcoming events and everything, and moving on from there. So how's business going? How's life going?
Very busy. I've been extremely busy, but it's good. I'd rather be busy than bored. Always rather be busy than bored. But I can't complain. I love what I do.
So tell us a little bit about Zafiri.
Well, Zafiri is basically like a business consulting where it helps larger or medium-sized and large companies that are having issues with cash flow or problems with due diligence type issues. Actually, even smaller businesses. A lot of times, business owners will get into their business and they'll get over their head where they need to basically how can I explain it? Basically, sometimes you get into something that you don't know all the elements, and then the elements you don't know end up catching up with you, and you have a lot of trouble. So we're there to fix that. We're here to give advice, to help plan, even fractional CFO, CEO, stuff like that, COO. So yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things. And I always tell people, I do it all the time, and I am very guilty of this. I tell people I know exactly what my company is. And I know exactly what I want to do. But that doesn't mean other people understand it, and that doesn't mean that people are going to support you with that, and going at things going, well, what the hell's wrong with you? How do you not know what I'm talking about? That's probably not the best way to do it, right? So,
true.
Well, joining us first is a great friend of mine, been on the show many times, been on the 22-hour podcast, both of the first 2 years. We're working to maybe get him on for the third year. Mr. J.R. Smith. J.R., how are you, brother?
Good evening, y'all. How you doing?
Fantastic.
Fantastic. Looks like you're not covered in snow.
No, sir. We got out of Utah and Colorado. Hey, I'm on camera. Knock it off. Hang on, it's feeding time, and they know it. So he's trying to let me know. This is Bo. That's Bo, and Bo knows it's feeding time. No, we tell you what, I'm gonna set this down. This is improvisation right here. I had to run up here to get in front of these horses. We left Florida a little over a week, 10 days ago. I don't know. Time flies when you're having fun. And we were in Texas for a couple of days. We had to go to Utah to get our donated horses, and actually left right literally the day before. Came out I-80 through Wyoming, stopped one night in Fort Collins, Colorado, and then made it into Amarillo the next day and back to Weatherford, where we are here right now.
JR, I wish you would have let me know. I am literally 30 minutes from Fort Collins.
Oh, brother, it was literally 3 o'clock in the morning, freezing. We had blown a tire. We stopped in a parking lot and got up after some bad sleep, got some petrol, and we were back on the road. We needed a hot shower like there was no tomorrow. So
we
didn't have a lot of time.
I still would have tried to come and see you. Or
I was thinking about you, brother. I was like, hey, we're going through northern Colorado.
Yeah.
I was thinking about you.
I would have tried to come out and seen you, but I would have looked at you as you were fixing your tire, because I've only got the one wing right now. But so I got out of the brace today, which is nice. But still only got one wing, and she's back. Good Lord, girl, go away. I love her. I love her.
Bothering me.
Your dog and my horses.
And Publio's got his cat, and he's got his animals
last week.
So JR, I'd like to welcome you. This is our third episode. Publio is a Air Force veteran of 23. Yes,
nope, 22
years.
Nope.
So
20, I don't remember now. 20 years, 6 months. Yeah, good God, my memory is so bad.
And obviously he's been, tipping the sauce. Oh, no.
Yeah,
Not yet.
But he and I started this show, and what we wanted to do is make sure that we were really bringing to light a lot of one of the things that you and I like to do, JR, bringing to light a lot of the programs that have to do with the veterans and the suicide epidemic, and bring up businesses and nonprofits trying to help. Publio, JR runs the Veterans Ranch. Do you still have a ranch in Florida, or is that one down?
Yeah, so the way Florida's ran since its inception was we used a network of other people's horses and facilities to do trail rides, weekend therapy sessions, the whole 9 yards. It was run out of our house. Our house is still there. The house we rent, it's still there. But we're here in Texas for a good while. We're relocating the headquarters to North Texas. So there's a half big announcement. And so we're here in Weatherford right now, getting a lot of stuff done. And this is probably where headquarters central is going to become.
Okay. Well, you're that means that you're like a day away from us, instead of like half the country away now. So
exactly,
maybe we can come and see you sooner or later. So tell us a little bit about this event that you've got going on, JR.
Yeah. So okay. I was wondering which one you were going to pull up first. All right. So benefit concert. So this money raised from this concert will go towards taking care of these three guys, buying land, anything to do with the ranch. That's what it's going to be. Boy, they're getting feisty. They know it's dinner time. Hey, excuse me. I'm going to keep it short because we got to get these boys fed. They're nipping at each other because they're hungry. Anyway, so this benefit concert, we have Laura Lee, our national spokesman. We now have a country music singer who's our national spokesman, CJ Garton. He lives in Nashville, but he's originally from Oklahoma. He's old school, red dirt country music. Absolutely great guy. And then, of course, we got Ryan Weaver as well. CJ's a Navy veteran. Ryan's a 21-year Army veteran. We had him on the very first 22-hour podcast, if you remember.
I do.
Super great guy. We're going to be hosting it at Billy Bob's, Texas, in the Fort Worth Stockyard, Sunday, February 18th. You go to the website, theveteransranch.org. There's a button you hammer for buying tickets. They're going fast, so get them while you can. We're giving away 100 tickets to veterans and Gold Star families. So the other 3,900 tickets, y'all got to buy them.
Well, and they can get the tickets by going to your website, correct?
Yes, they go to the website, they hit the buy ticket button right on the homepage, and it'll take them right to the Access ticket site where they can buy all the tickets.
All right, that sounds great. That sounds great. So, and you started this organization as you're a patriot. You're not a veteran. That's one of the things that we like to make sure that people understand. You're not a veteran. You started this. Your father is a veteran, but you started this in honor of those who have served our country.
Absolutely. My wife and I, both patriot. Dad, Vietnam veteran, U.S. Navy, 69 to 73. Hoo-yah. So, that was his time in the service. We got sick and tired of being sick and tired around 2017 or reading stories about, men and women going to the VA saying, hey, I feel like hurting myself. No, you're not effed up enough. Go home. And they off themselves in the truck in the parking lot. Deny till you die. Here's another pill. We knew there had to be another way. And so we started this literally with a legal pad and the good Lord, right? My dad always told me to keep a legal pad next to the bed in case you get an idea in the middle of the night. I chicken scratched the word ranch, had no idea what it meant. 2 weeks later, my wife and I are at a Chili's, a little plug for them. And, all of a sudden I'm scribbling stuff. About 20 napkins later, the ideas for the ranch were born. And by December of 2017, we were a charity. But we started like most nonprofits do, a lot of passion, a lot of drive, not a lot of cash. So that's where we developed our network. We're also partnered with Cowboys for Cross out of, they're actually based out of Fort Worth, out of the Tampa area. And so we started working a lot of rodeos, all kinds of stuff that helped us build our network of friends so we could do what we do, leading up to almost 6 years. This next month, we're now moving stuff to Texas. We've got 3 horses. That's Rico. And the feisty one right there is King, and I already introduced you to Bo. And now you can sponsor a horse. You can go to that same website. There's a sponsor a horse button, and for $50 a month, sponsor a horse. You're going to get a T-shirt that says I sponsored Bo King. You're going to get a hoodie. So we'll send you a Veterans Ranch hoodie. And you'll get a newsletter talking about, what your horse is doing and who they're serving and how they're helping. So lots of great ways you can help, because King and Rico, they're about 1,000 pounds each. They eat a lot. Okay. Bo is 1,500 pounds. He's kind of our resident fatty. He should be about 1,400 pounds. We kind of got to Jenny Craig him here a little bit. But, he eats more than the rest, right? I'd rather take a little weight off of him than put some on. It's a little easier to take it off than to put it on. But for $50 a month, what are you sponsoring? You're helping our new 4-legged employees serve more of these veterans and Gold Star families. I mean, I dropped $300 at the feed store the other day on 12 bags of shavings and a couple giant, things of alfalfa. So it adds up fast. For everybody out here watching, they've heard me say this a million times before. The word cheap and horse never go hand in hand.
Yeah.
So, a fool and his money, I think, might actually get closer together than cheap and horse. So, but we got them. We're super appreciative of the veteran that donated them to us. And, we're already doing great things with them. We had some folks out here the other day and we were working with them. follow us on all the socials and everything. You'll see all the videos and pictures and everything going up. But there's so many ways you can help. You can do $19 a month. You can sponsor a horse. You can make a one-time donation. We don't care. It's all going to the mission. Okay. Still 6 years into this, none of us have taken a salary. I'm just letting everybody know that's going to have to change eventually, because now we're living in a 9-foot living quarters horse trailer. Okay. So, we're going to have to start taking a salary soon so we could get some other stuff moving, personally. But, the bottom line is your money's going to the mission. Okay. We're not against salaries. It's just, we're still at that stage where it'd rather go to the mission than to go in my pocket or my wife or my dad's pocket. Right. So, anybody out there watching, just go to the website, theveteransranch.org. Give us a call. The number's up there. Even though I'm in Texas and that's a Florida number, you're still going to get me. You might get voicemail if I'm working with these boys, but, bottom line is we're going to get back to you, and you can email us as well. Zach, always appreciate your support, brother. You've been there from the early days, when we were putting all this stuff together. So we really appreciate that and everything you've done for us of helping us get our word out there.
Yeah, well, not a problem. I know that your time is short, but Publio, I wanted to give you a chance. Do you have any questions for JR?
No, I'm very excited about what you're doing. It's very interesting. And I really appreciate you and your wife for doing this for the veterans. Cause I tell you, sometimes it seems like nobody cares. And it's nice to see that people do care. And I really appreciate it. I hope that everybody that you come across lets you know that we appreciate it.
I couldn't hear him.
Oh, I don't.
Am I muted?
No, you're not muted. I can hear you. Can you hear me still, or?
I can hear you. I just can't hear him. So if you could repeat his question, I'd be more than happy to answer it.
Yeah, actually, he just wanted to let you know that as a veteran, he wanted to thank you very much for everything that you and your wife and your dad are doing, because, and make sure that you understand that as a veteran, he appreciates it because this is so important. And that's always what we say as well. But I also wanted to I wanted to give you one other, I guess, offer. And if you want to take and record some of your event that you've got coming up on the 18th, 4 days later, we can show some of it on the 22-hour podcast. Why don't we take and kind of show people what you've got going on, and that way we can get you prepared for next year. I know that
absolutely.
I know that our great friend Brian Gibson, he's got something coming up here very soon as well, and making the same offer to him as well. Let's record some of this stuff and we can get it on the pACT channel and make sure that I know that you guys are very good about sharing stuff, but let's make sure people are seeing this good, but boy, that's a beautiful, beautiful horse. I just don't like those things. They got teeth. So
yeah, that's King. And we're going to come over here. There's Rico. And then we're going to come down here and we're going to show everybody Bo. Where's Bo? There's Bo. So now you get to meet our new 4-legged employees, and they're eating me out of house and home. I feel like I have teenagers. So
well, obviously, if you're living in a 9-foot trailer, buddy, they're literally eat you out of home. But you know what? Congratulations on the new move, brother, man. Congratulations.
Thanks,
on
brother.
that.
We appreciate it.
I know that you've been trying to get things going, and I know that it's been a hard road, but I have all the faith in the world. We've got a small community ourselves. We have been friends. We've got another really good friend in our group that we're here to support each other. We don't get to talk near as much as we used to, but lives are busy. I just want you to know, and everyone to know, man, I love and I support everything that you guys are doing. And if I could yell it any louder, I would, but people are kind of tired of me yelling. So, but like we said, like I said, every year, you know what? I'm scheduled to go for 22 hours on the 22nd, but if we can raise $1 million, I'll shut up for that day. But, only for that day. I won't completely shut up, because I mean, $1 million would
There
be
you go.
nice
Yeah.
to split in between the 10 organizations, but we definitely need to keep this going. One
Yeah.
more time, give us your information so people can go and get a hold of you. Theveteransranch.org. And your phone number is?
Yep. Veteransranch.org, 863-815-5896. And they can always hit us on email as well. contact@theveteransranch.org. Smash all them donate buttons, buy concert tickets if you're anywhere near the Fort Worth area. You know, the DFW Metroplex, as they call it. If you're anywhere near that area, buy some tickets. You are not going to regret it. These guys know how, and gal know how to put on a show.
And I've got an idea for you. If you're
Yep,
not
there it is.
anywhere, if you're not anywhere near their area, buy a couple and donate it to your VA. Buy a couple and donate it to the VFW there in the area. Give it to some
good idea.
veterans that want to
Yep.
go out there and get them. Go out there and watch this. Just buy the tickets and donate them. I mean, if you can't be there, it's not like it's going to hurt. I mean, do some good. Think of it this way. This would be a great Christmas gift for a veteran out there who would like to go to this, but is kind of down on his luck. This is kind of what we were talking about the Christmas giving. Look, this is something that could really make someone's day, and it will always keep you in their mind because they know that you cared enough to donate to them. So,
Yep, that's right. Absolutely.
all right, brother, man, you get back and feed those horses. I don't want to see that pretty little hat of yours getting a big old chunk out of it. So, and
Right.
that's the one thing that I forgot to do is I forgot to bring down my hat, and that way I could have a funny hat too. But I've got my granddaughter's hat now. So, but
There you go.
but brother, man, please keep up the good work. I appreciate everything that you do. I send my love, and that we're just going to keep going until we can't keep going no more.
Absolutely, brother. Appreciate being on. Thanks to all the fans and everybody out there watching and supporting. And, we always say, God bless, take care, and giddy up.
Sounds good. Thank you,
That's
JR.
Nice meeting you.
JR Smith with the Veterans Ranch. And Publio, have you ever got on a horse?
I have a few times. I'm not a huge fan, but
Yeah.
I do appreciate what they are and what they have meant to this country and stuff like that too. Because I mean, the cavalry was an important part of our army for a long time, and there's a lot of rich history to that. I don't know if you know this, but General Patton, when he was a captain, he designed a sword when he was a cavalry officer that ended up being the what they said it was the best iteration of a sword ever. And even talking about even like Japanese swords and broadswords and stuff, the sword that General Patton had designed was the best sword ever designed. And it's a rich history that goes back to the cavalry. It's really neat. But
I do know that I mean you go way back and Washington had his horse, and he was a huge fan of his horse. Yeah, hell, you go all the way back to Alexander. Alexander had Persepolis, I think was his name, and he was able to get on that horse, and that's the reason why his dad gave him the kingdom. And his dad told him, look, you're going to need to go and find a kingdom that is big enough to handle you, something to those effects. And I mean, so horses have been a huge part of veterans and armies and stuff for a long time. But the one thing that JR always talks about, and this is one of the things that, unfortunately we got him during dinner time for those crazy animals. My horses have 2 wheels and a motor. Those ones, those kind with the 4 legs, they scare the living hell out of me, to be honest with you, brother. I
got a funny horse anecdote.
Yeah, go for it.
I've been reading, I listen to a lot of history, 'cause I'm very interested. I'm reading about George Washington and his wife. I can't remember her name off the top of my head right now, but she was
Martha.
Her parents, Martha. Her parents were a funny. He was a very rich man, her father, and his mother or his wife fought all the time. And he said that one of the instances they were driving a carriage through, I guess it was Martha's Vineyard or something like that. And they got in such a fight, he almost drove his, or he threatened and almost drove his carriage with the 2 horses and his wife into the river. How many times we said that, when you're driving your
That's
car, I'm going to drive this car into the, and he did it with a horse and carriage. I loved it. Oh, it was funny.
Well, it is kind of nice knowing that that's not something new. It's like, oh God, I'm just going to end it right here. You know what? I'm going to take and I'll put this cart in the river. I don't now see there was once that when my second son was still in the womb, my wife at the time, she was doing everything she could to get that labor to come, and I was golfing almost every day. Well, we went out to the golf course, and she decided that she was going to drive the cart.
Oh no!
I have never in my life been so scared at golfing. I mean, that was. I literally had to put my foot on the ground to keep the cart from tipping over a couple times.
Oh
So
my gosh!
she was doing whatever she could do to to stop the craziness. But yeah, it was really quite interesting. So are we going to be joined by your guest, or has she not been able to make it?
I thought she was coming. I'll just send her a message real quick.
Yeah, let me go on ahead, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this video while you try to get a hold of her real quick. I'm going to play our video again. Again, this is talking about our 22-hour podcast coming up Thursday, February 22nd, from 2 a.m. until midnight Mountain Time, 4 a.m. To 2 a.m. Eastern. So here we go. This is Community Mission to Serve our Veterans. Okay, here it goes. Okay, once again, you can scan the QR code that you see right there, and when you scan the QR code, that gives you the opportunity to do a couple things. You can join us as one of the 10 nonprofit organizations, and we're going to work with you to try to raise money. But more importantly, we're going to tell your story. You're going to be able to talk to people like you can do right here, the third or the fourth Wednesday of every month with Publio and myself. But we're going to tell your story on this day, and hopefully we're going to, save that first life, because we can't save them all until we save the first one. So scan that QR code and you can tell us your story. You can also sponsor an hour or more. There's even an option to where we can try to, we will come and we will broadcast from your building for 1 hour. So, we can be right there. And of course, if you're not in the Northern Colorado area, we might need someone to DJ it for us, but even if you want to do it, we can just sit there and we can talk to you that whole hour right there from your business. But there are so many things that we can do. Every sponsorship, a portion of the sponsorship goes to the 10 nonprofits. Okay. Out of every sponsorship, a portion goes to the nonprofits. Or if you choose just to donate, 100% of that donation will go to the nonprofit and charity organizations that we are raising money for. Right now, we've got 3. We have got, and 2 of them have been right here on this show. Publio, we've got Rescue Resident.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's one of the ambulances, right?
Yeah, that's the one with the ambulances. Yep.
That guy was amazing.
Uh-oh. Yeah. Yeah, it was I love that story. I love what he does, and what they're doing and everything that they got going on. One of the other things that they have going on right now, just to let everyone know, is they've got their event coming up, and all of a sudden my computer just really went slow. So just give me a second here. But they have their first annual Desert Jamboree, and of course, AMBO is ambulance. I didn't know that. I actually had to look that up on the old Google machine. It's like, what is AMBO? And then it made sense to me. Then I saw it was ambulance, and it was kind of one of those things where I slammed my head against the desk. It's like, really? You couldn't figure that out? So, but they got their first annual Jamboree coming up in Thermal, California. So you can get all the information you want by going to their website, which is rescueresidents.org. rescueresidents.org. Again, here's a great opportunity. Maybe if you can't make it, buy a ticket, send a veteran. There you go. That's just one way to make a veteran's life a little bit better this holiday season. But then you're also going to make a veteran's life a hell of a lot better in the long run because you're donating to this wonderful program. So, but Rescue Residents is one of the organizations that we are going to be raising money for. Then Veterans Honoring Veterans, Mr. Bart, he's one of the organizations we're going to be raising money for. And then we've also got one of our dearest friends. He does the podcast with me, Mr. Dennis Schroeder, with his organization. That what they do is they write books about veterans that lose their lives, and in service of the country. And the one thing that they include people who have possibly taken their own lives, which is something that, the Gold Star families, they don't do that. So, it's something that, they go a little bit further because look, it's always, it's a problem. It's a problem. And they've got an organization that's also part of the program. Okay. It is called the Price of Freedom Foundation. And right there is their information. It's the Price of Freedom Foundation. All you have to do is scan that QR code, and any purchase you make from any of our partners goes straight to them. And look at this. We've been talking about them all show. You got Project Die Hard right underneath them. You can scan their QR code, and it goes to help Brian complete the fobs and everything that they've got going on. So, but you have Veterans Honoring Veterans and the Veterans Ranch. Look, these are just some of the organizations that we're working with to try to make a difference in veterans' lives. So, what'd you find out, brother?
She didn't get back to me, which is unfortunate because she's a very interesting veteran. I worked with her at I worked adjacent to her when we were at Keesler Air Force Base. I was an instructor at the weather school, and she was an instructor. I can't remember what she taught. It wasn't PMEL. It was, God, my memories gave me a lot of trouble recently. But she's a very sharp. I would say young lady because I think she's young, but actually I think she's my age. But she looks much better than I do. She's very sharp, very smart. She's got her own consulting business as well, and she calls herself the Boss Whisperer. She's a very smart young lady. She very acutely, or not acutely, but accurately, I think, analyzes a lot of situations that a lot of people deal with in the workplace and are able to see it from the employer's point of view and the employer's point of view, employee and employers, and tries to bridge that gap. She's very smart. I was hoping she would be able to make it. Something must have come up because she messaged me not less than an hour ago saying she's going to be on.
Well, we got a little bit more time. Let's not give up hope. Hopefully we can get her on. Hopefully she will be here, but if not, we will try to get her on maybe next month. Do whatever we can to get her on next month. We can definitely just keep working on that. But so I ran across something the other day, Publio, and I kind of wanted to get your opinion on this.
Okay.
Only 11% of people who, and you know what the numbers are, all right? Numbers on when it comes to suicide of Americans in 2022, 49,449 lost their lives in America alone. Okay.
I think we know what you're talking about. We were going with this. You know that news article that came out said that 2023 was the highest rate for suicide since like 1972 or something like that. Is that what you're talking about?
No, actually, what I was going with was I found out the other day, and I looked, I was looking into this, and I found out the other day that only 11%. That's only 11%. This 49,449. That was only 11% of people who attempted suicide. So add the other, add the other 89%, and that is people who have attempted suicide. Yeah. And then that number is almost tripled with people who put or who have a plan. So the way that the way they've broken it down is you have people who have a plan and created a plan, people who have put the plan in action, and then the people who have actually committed suicide. And that, I think that's one of the reasons why we're doing what we're doing, is because we've got to catch them before, should we feel good that it's only 11% that succeed in that,
I don't think so. I think that any loss is really unacceptable. It's unfortunate because I think about this myself, and I've been, I don't want to make myself sound even important at all, but I've been kind of close to the edge a few times myself. And I think part of the problem is that I think, and I'm talking from the military mind because of how I think from what I was, and I wasn't like hyper military, but it was, we look at problems and we look for the solution. And a lot of times people get to the point where there is no solution, and it turns into a level of frustration where it comes to the point where the only way out is out. And what people need to understand is that's not the case. I'm a big proponent of things like Stoic philosophy, stuff like that, where you have to realize that when you're in that moment of emotion, emotions are basically uncontrolled responses. You need to wait till it passes before you make decisions. And it's a very hard thing to do. It takes a lot of discipline, but it's discipline that a lot of people aren't accustomed to because we're used to seeing an action or seeing a problem and dealing with it at the moment. And when we can't, it builds that frustration, and golly, it's terrible. And I've lost some friends this year, thankfully, none to suicide, but I have lost some good friends that had the military in it. And I lost another friend that was in the military, but I met kind of adjacently, but it's very devastating. It really is.
And as I was talking about before you came on, certain states, and Colorado is one of the states, that if you overdose prescription or recreational drugs. If you overdose, they call that an accidental suicide.
Oh, wow.
Our government does not classify an overdose as a suicide with veterans. They don't do that. That's one of the reasons why the numbers are so askew. Okay, because you're gonna, your state is gonna classify a veteran who overdoses. Like here in Colorado, if a veteran is having a problem and is on drugs and overdoses, that's going to be considered a suicide. It's going to be listed as a suicide, but the VA is not going to call that a suicide. So that's where we've got the misconception of the numbers. And I think that's where a huge disconnect is with people and the number, because the number is closer to 40 plus of accidental or purposeful deaths of veterans every day.
It's a way of skewing the statistics to make it seem like it's not a problem. That's the problem.
That's exactly where I was going with this, Publio. Do you think that it's kind of one of those things that they're sitting there going, look, we know that we know that we haven't done the best for our veterans, but we don't want everyone to know it.
I'll be honest with you. I think what it is these kind of situations are heavy politically motivated. And I don't think that anybody wants the veterans to suffer or to commit suicide. But I think what happens is you've got these factions, and the reality is the factions, the liberals and conservatives. And instead of doing action, it's easier to relabel things, because action really involves sacrifice, and it involves putting yourself out there and being judged and potentially making mistakes. And as we know in the political world, you can't make a mistake without the other side making complete taking complete advantage of it. And I'm talking about both sides. I'm not talking one side or the other.
Yeah.
So what happens is we have a lot of these situations where somebody, in order to get elected or whatever, they make these promises that they don't intend to keep, or they don't realize that they cannot keep. And in order to make it look like they've kept it, a lot of times I think they just change definitions. And it's unfortunate because our political system has turned to the point where it's not leadership anymore. It's just shuffling of ideas and facts. And then you have people like veterans, and it's not just veterans. I mean, there's people suffering all over the country. I mean, you have the homeless rate's gone up because we've changed, definitions of what, a thriving economy is to make it fit a narrative, and it's sad and scary. And it's, and I understand more from my military background, is that, it's hard sometimes for us to see a problem and not be able to affect any change. And it's frustrating, and frustration leads to other emotions, which, leads to bad things, unfortunately.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Yeah, and one of the other things that I want to get across, that I want to make sure that everybody understands is that, like you said, there's a lot of promises that are given that they just, one, they never intended to keep, two, they can't keep. There's a lot of people who go and they put things out there and these campaign promises. But look, let's be honest. There's not one person in government who can do anything by himself. They can't do it. Our Constitution is built to where one person cannot do it, which is, it's a good thing to a point. But when you have so many interests coming up that interfere with good, that is where the problem comes. To where, when something as simple as support for our veterans gets lost in a shuffle, because of, and we're not going to get into this too far. Okay. I promise you we're not. But when something that has to do with veterans gets lost in the shuffle of abortion, which is something that's very prevalent right now,
but not related.
It's not related. It's not related, and doesn't matter. And it's hurting the entire country. And my biggest thing is right now, we've got 1% of the kids that are joining right now. And that number's only going to drop. But why would anybody join this monkey show right now when, look, they can't do anything because they're hamstrung?
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Actually, it's funny you say that because something I wanted to bring up. I forgot my youngest son enlisted in the Army. Yesterday, the day before. So yeah, he's going to be a linguist. Very, very smart kid.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I'm
Congratulations.
very excited for him. But you're right. I mean, it's disheartening. You know, we have situations, you know, like unfortunately like 9/11 where it increases people's patriotism and they join, and that's an unfortunate event that created that patriotism, unfortunately. But patriotism, I think, is still there. I think there's a lot of people that are patriotic in this country, and a lot of kids are patriotic. And I think that I guess it's being, I hate to use the word lie, but I think that they're misconstruing the patriotism that's in the majority of the country. And the reality is, I mean, we're proud to be Americans. America's a great country. You know,
Mhm.
people give, you know, so much grief for that. Make America great again. You know, America was great. America is great. America will remain to be great. And the reason America is great is because it's got strong, hardworking, diverse people that make it great. That's what the reality of it is. They try to divide us. They try to split us up. But the reality is in the military, you see that very cohesive unity that is not homogenous. The homogeneity comes from the ideals and the strong brotherhood and the faith to each other. It's not about skin color, religion, sex. It's about the team, you know. And I think that's another thing that we struggle with veterans is when we get out of the military, we can't find that like we used to, you
Yeah.
know. And I know I see it. I mean, I run a shop of about 15 people right now, and I want so bad for them to feel that camaraderie, but they can't get to it because there's things that haven't happened for them to. It's almost like when we're in the military, you know, through basic training, and then when you come to your unit, it's like you develop a bond through commisery. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yep.
Things suck so bad that you find value in each other to get through the suck. And people don't have that in the civilian world, you know. And you know, my staff, I love my staff. They're great, but they don't have that stickiness to each other, you know. And I wish they could because it's a great feeling. I mean, when you are working with a team and even the people you don't like, they're in the team that are coming through and you support each other, it's a great feeling. It really is.
Yet, you know, one of the biggest honors I've ever had in my life is I got to ride with the VFW Warriors, and under the auxiliary. On my patch was an auxiliary patch, and I got to ride with all of these gentlemen and ladies who served our country, and I got to be a part of that without understanding how tight it is. When I first walked in, I got to see how, even if they weren't in the same era,
Mhm.
there's still a close knit relationship there in between them. You know, every day it starts out with you know, the Navy guys giving the Marines hell, and you know, well, you wouldn't be anywhere if we didn't get you there. And you know, and the Army guys get, you know, they get it. And then, you know, of course, you Air Force guys, nobody can touch you guys because you're just smarter than everybody else, you know.
You know,
That's
we get a lot of grief.
so, but you know, I mean, it's one of the biggest honors that I ever got. And I'm still really, really good friends with them. And now that I'm, fingers crossed, this much closer to getting a bike again, you know, I'm going to probably get back and ride with them again. And it's such a great experience that, you know, for somebody who was never in the service and didn't, you know, it put me in a position where, look, I love those men and those women that I rode with. I love them. I love their kids. I love their families. I love everything about them. And I feel like when I went down, Publio, they were there for me.
Oh yeah.
Every single one of them was there for me. They came to my bedside. They were like, they looked at my wife at the time. Do you need anything? And they would come over. They would cut our grass. They would do whatever needed. And that is a relationship that, as a civilian, I never had that with anybody else.
Yeah.
I have great friends. They never came over and cut my grass just because, I was injured. Yeah. So, it's one of those things that, like I said, that truly is one of the greatest honors. And that's probably that's obviously going to be the closest that I'll ever have to that kind of camaraderie. And it is something special. And tell me this, do you think that is a huge part of the mental health problem when they get out, is they don't have that anymore?
I do. I'll be honest with you. Like when I got out, I had like a ridiculous amount of leave saved up, like 75 days. And all of a sudden I wasn't going to the weather station anymore, or the weather schoolhouse anymore. I wasn't getting them on uniform. All those routines went away. We were really, we had our routines. You got up, showered, early in the morning, you got dressed, you put on your uniform, you knew what you're going to do. You go there, you had a mission and you had purpose. And then all of a sudden you didn't. And it's very depressing. I got to say that I was depressed. I mean, it got to the point where I was with my third wife at the time, and I was at my computer playing video games in my underwear. I hadn't showered in days. She's like, "You got to do something about yourself," But it was like I didn't have any purpose, and it was very difficult. And for me, one of the hardest things to do was to find a job in the civilian world that had purpose. And my first real job I got was I was dean for a career college out in Gulfport, and I struggled with it because it was not 501c3, a Title IV type of college. Where they taught like cosmetology and CNA, and to me, it felt very predatory on the young ladies. Mostly, it was mostly young ladies, and the reason being is because they would, we were like, hey, we want to get you guys college so you can make better decisions and make more money. But it wasn't that. It was a way for the school to make money off of people who really shouldn't have tried to go to college. And I'm not saying anything negative about these ladies. They had a heart and everything. But the reality was, we were giving them a Wonderlic test, and some of them either couldn't pass it, which means that their IQ was on the way low side of the bell curve, or they could barely pass it. And what they were doing was giving these poor young ladies loans to go to school, and then they would make it through it, and then all of a sudden they owed all this damn money. And if they did make it through, they were just making basically minimum wage anyways. It was just, and I couldn't stand, I couldn't sleep at night the more I became to realize that. And then I finally moved into plasma, and plasma, although it's a very difficult industry and people are very cutthroat in it, it has a purpose. You're saving lives on the back end, and it gives me an opportunity to help and develop people, both donors and employees, and it's brought back a little bit of that feeling I used to get in the military, which is nice. But I mean, it's still not the same. It's unfortunate, but I mean, we live and learn. We have to do, we have to grow up and do other things. But
yeah, I try to do my best to recreate that feeling, with the people I work with the, yourself, with JR, with Brian, with Bart. I would love to be able to create as close to that kinship, that with the knowledge, knowing that, what, we're not out there, you're not holding a gun behind me saving my ass. So, there's not that, that part of the trust, but there's enough here that, I hope you guys know that my love for you guys is genuine, and my support for you guys is genuine, and my drive to make this all better. And I'm hoping that we can get together and we can kind of bring a portion of that to people, just because it's like you've said, and like I said with the VFW Warriors, it is a feeling that everybody should be able to experience. You know, when I created Community Pay It Forward, I did this because I work with you people as small business owners. And we've raised money for people for a long time with small business owners. And I realize, and you realize, Publio, that, you know, if you're in a position where, if you're in a position where everyone is struggling, you're not going to do any good in business. So you need to make sure that you're trying to take care of other people. And that's kind of what, you know, I'm hoping that we're able to do, and we're able to promote more of a kinship and more of a relationship when it comes to that.
I mean, I hope so too, because I mean, there's a lot of people there that need help, and I think that's part of the problem with a lot of veterans that suffer, is that we lose that kinship, and then you don't know where to get it back, and then it becomes overall depression, and it's tough, man. But you know what? It's so wild, because when I go someplace and I run into a veteran, especially I've run into a lot of them at my work too, there's always that bond and that connection, and I love it.
Yeah.
There's a guy that's donating in the center. He's ex-Army, and he's, I think he's about my age, maybe a little bit older, but he's in great shape. You know, I'm not in great shape, just so you know. But he's like a does all these strongman contests, and he's just a massive guy. But he's my age or older, and he takes very good care of himself. Comes and donates plasma because he wants to help out people, and then he also takes very good care of himself and does this, and it's just, that's the same spirit, and it's, I get to see him. It's great. There's a few other veterans that come in there. I love seeing them all: Marines, sailors, airmen, the whole 9 yards, and it's fantastic. And yeah.
Well, I know this. I'm in grape shape. I'm kind of shaped like a little ball with a stem coming grape shape, but definitely not great shape. So, hey, brother, I want to thank you so much for joining us and for doing this with us. We haven't talked about it, but we're not going to have a show next month due to the holidays. But we're going to pick it up again in January. So we're going to take a month off, and but after that, hopefully we can get your guest back on. She can join us, and we can.
And you're going to love her.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like, you know what, man, look, let's be honest here. Everybody that I've met through you, I've loved anyway. So I'm pretty sure that I will. I know that you did you ever get a hold of Diamond? Did you guys ever connect?
I don't. Diamond.
Yeah, we had her on last month.
I think I did. My memory's so freaking bad, man. I gotta check my notes. I don't think I connected well with her. If I did.
Well, yeah, I know that she's got a workshop going on for the rest of this week, and yeah,
the young pretty black girology.
Right. Yeah. So,
just
so she's so very talented. Like I was telling you guys, everybody last month. I mean, she takes her coaching to a whole new level, because it's not, look, every coach has got to have something. If every coach was, if every coach was Carnegie, then you wouldn't have need for coaches. If every coach was the same, you wouldn't need, and so that's one of the things that I do love about Diamond, is that her coaching is so much different, and she focuses on a lot of things that you're not going to, but that's okay. You're going to focus on a lot of things that she doesn't, and it's but yeah, she's fantastic. So but please do check her out. You can check out her information at diamonddripconsulting.com. Once again, that's diamonddripconsulting.com. Once again, she does have a program going on for the rest of the week, and I hope that you guys go and check it out, because look, it's something
Yeah.
special. She's special,
A
and
veteran too, correct?
what's that?
Is she a veteran? I can't remember.
Yeah,
I
she's
thought
she's
so.
Air Force. Yep,
Oh, okay.
yep,
That's
she was Air Force. But well, Publio, thank you very much, brother, and
sure.
we will be in contact throughout the month. But since I'm not going to see you on the show, I'm just going to say Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to you, my brother. Thank you so much
Oh,
for
same.
joining the program, joining the team, and joining the family. I really hope that everything is going well, and let's just keep working and let's keep this going.
Okay, brother. You be good, and Merry Christmas and all that. And I'll hopefully see you soon.
All right, sounds good. Thank you very much, sir. All right. Hey guys, Publio Casillas. Look, I love the guy. Once again, if you want a coach that's not a yes man, if you want somebody who's going to look at your business and is going to tell you the truth, give him a call. 228-383-3169. 228-383-3169. Publio at zafiricorp.com. He is also part of the community Pay It Forward family. So one of the greatest things about it is you hire him. You can support an organization like JR and the Veterans Ranch. We've been talking about him. We've mentioned his name quite a bit today, like Brian Gibson and Project Die Hard. Okay. I want to thank JR for joining us. TheVeteransRanch.org, TheVeteransRanch.org. And please remember to put TheVeteransRanch.org. There are other VeteransRanch.org out there. So if if you're looking for JR, go to TheVeteransRanch.org. Or you can always contact him at his email address, contact@theveteransranch.org, or give him a call, 863-815-5896. 863-815-5896. It's one of my favorite shows of the month because we do get to talk to our heroes. Again, I didn't want to cut my hair and I didn't want to get yelled at, so I got married instead of joining the service. Oy vey. That was to be a kid again and think that was the only way I was going to lose my hair. And to think I wasn't going to get yelled at. I was too much of an idiot not to get yelled at. So I'm surprised I got yelled at as little as I did, but it is what it is. Hey, once again, I do implore you, please donate to our organization and help us take care of other families for the holidays. This QR code up here is a way that you can take and you can support our mission. We just got a message as I was sitting here. We just got a message on Facebook asking us for a family of 5 that needs our help. So we're going to be adding them to the website. We're going to see what we can do. Regardless of what happens, we're going to do our best to try to make sure that they're taken care of. That's what we do. Okay. Community Dare to Care is an organization that we ask you to donate goods and services to us, and that way we can give them to people who need them for free. We don't ever charge for clothing, housewares, furniture, when we can store it, furniture, school supplies, and more items. Okay. We do ask for small donations on stuff that's donated. Like we had somebody donate some tires and we were able to make a little bit of money on that. And that money goes to making sure that we can continue to give away stuff for free. You can find out more about that if you go to communitypayitforward.us and go to scroll down on the first page and you'll find Community Dare to Care. And you can learn more about that. My lovely wife is the one who really manages that right now. And she's doing so much better than I ever did. I did it for 6 years prior to her. It's never ran as smooth as it is now. So that's for damn sure. But yeah, we have some, we are going to be adding some more families that need our help. Let's make sure that this is a happy holiday for all of us, no matter what holiday you celebrate. Let's make sure it's happy for all of us. This is a time of caring. This is a time of love, because it's an existing time. Okay. Every day should be a time of caring and a time of love. That's what we're going for. So please, please, please remember to love somebody out there, because somebody out here loves you. My name is Zach Clayton, Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the pACT channels. I want to thank you so very much for joining us today and every day. Once again, I'm going to play it because this is such an important program. This is such an important part of my year, and I really hope that you will join us.
Stepping out of her fear, bring me home. Out alone, show me the way. You wanna be a part of Sunset Boulevard.